Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. I almost went blank because I was like, where are we at? But we're on Facebook and YouTube. And welcome to our Friday night show. We have special guest Clarisse Jordan, author of An Anthology Life After, Affected or Infected. Is that the full title?
It's Life After, and then there's Life After Volume 2, Affected and Infected.
Gotcha. Okay. So keep me honest with that. And so welcome to the show tonight. When you come in, make sure you click like and share this video so that people can hear this story. We're also going to put the links to this book on here so that we can so that you can purchase it. I'm going to get my copy, and I think it's at Amazon. Clarisse, is that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's on Amazon, yes.
Okay. Any other outlets?
No.
Okay. And so what we usually do when we start the show is we just do a little check-in on how you're feeling and how's your week been. So I guess, Clarisse, you start us off. How's your week been so far? Well, it's over now, but.
Well, my week has been good, but a little trying. I was sick all week. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was actually in bed up until yesterday with some kind of bronchitis or bronchial infection. So.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So are you starting to feel better?
Good.
Okay.
I am.
Okay, good. Okay. So I was finding myself, I don't know if you're on social media, Clarisse, but I was finding myself on Facebook so that I could share the video. And so that's what I was doing, looking down. But we will get started usually at 8:40, giving people a chance to come home and relax and kind of get situated before they log in. So we'll start seeing people come in, but me and you can chat. So you're in Pittsburgh, right?
I am.
And you're saying
PA, born and raised.
Oh, born and raised. Okay. So you like it, apparently.
Yeah, I love it. It's home.
Okay. Have you ever thought about moving, or?
I have.
Okay.
I have thought about moving.
But no.
Right now, no.
No.
I'm in school. I'm in Geneva College, so I still have another year.
Okay.
Yes, to finish a bachelor's program.
What are you going to school for?
It's called community leadership. Is what I'll have my degree in.
Okay, cool. Exciting. So what is that about? What does that entail, that having that degree?
Well, with that degree, I can run a nonprofit. I can do Christian counseling.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, you trying to get into my work? I don't do Christian counseling, but I do. I guess you're going to say regular counseling. So I see we have a few people on. Let us know you're here. Leave a comment, because sometimes I know. Hey Michelle, I can see that you're on my screen, but I don't know if I can see your comments or not. But I can see it on my phone. So when you come in, please click like and share, and let us know you're here, and let us know how your week has been. So what made you want to go into that field, Clarisse?
Well, I've always been a talker, and people have always come to me to vent and just to share. And so, with me living with HIV, I'm an activist. So I get a lot of people coming to talk to me, and I mentor a lot of people living with HIV, to get them to live their best lives, and to be happy. So it's always been in me. That's kind of always been my ministry.
Gotcha. That's kind of how I started in therapy. Is just because I have a business undergrad degree, and I used to be at work, and people would just walk over to my desk and just share their problems and all of that type of stuff. The next thing I know, I'm just talking to them, and then they're like, "Well, thank you, because that what you were saying really kind of helped or whatever." And so then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to grad school and get my master's in clinical mental health counseling."
Right.
And that's what I did. And so here we are. But I love it. I love it. And I know you will, because you seem like a people person, like you like to help people and things like that.
I do.
Okay.
I like to listen.
And that we do a lot of in sessions. It depends on the clients. What I've noticed is some clients come in and they just talk. They just want to talk the whole session, and so you listen. And then some clients come in and they want you to kind of guide them through the session. So you have to know your client. And so for y'all out there, can y'all hear us? I just want to make sure that y'all can hear us. I see people on, but so for y'all out there, can y'all hear us? I can hear me through my phone. I just want to make sure. Hey, Tanil. Y'all can hear us. I see people on. So for y'all out there, can y'all hear us? I can hear me. I just want to make sure. Hey, Tanil. Hey, Marquise. Tanil, Jenny, Michelle. Thank y'all for joining. Leave us a comment so we can see if we can see you, because Oh, yes, they're saying hello. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. And I can't see my comments on SpringYard, but I can see them on my phone. So I'm going to use the phone to relay the messages. But we're going to we got 3 minutes before we actually start, and let Clarisse tell her story. So we're going to wait to 8:40 like we usually do. And so glad y'all are here. Welcome to the Dr. Dare show this Friday night. And we have our guest author, Clarisse Jordan. And I'll let her tell the title of the book, because I don't want to mess that up. But we will let her start momentarily at 8:40. But thank y'all for joining. It's going to be a great topic. I'm going to give everybody the link to the book so that you can go purchase it and support this author. So we will start in 2 minutes. Here in Atlanta, it is raining so bad. I teach Zumba class too. I have like tons of jobs.
Okay.
And so I teach Zumba at LA Fitness. And so I just taught class, ran home, took a shower, got dressed, and now I'm sitting here. But it's pouring down, raining outside. I know you said your weather, you all were warm and get ready to get snow tomorrow.
Yes, Saturday and really Sunday. Tomorrow it's just supposed to be a little chilly and raining all day.
Okay.
Okay. I just shared it to my page.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, and we will start in 1 minute. So let us know how it's chilly in Virginia, Jenny. Jenny says it's chilly. That's my sister. She's there in, I'm from Hampton, Virginia. I don't know if I told you that, but all my family is back in Virginia. And it's chilly there. It feels good here. It's just raining like really a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to give you the floor, introducing Clarisse A. Jordan, and she's going to tell us the title of her book and share as much about her story as she wants to. And she's open to questions. So if you have questions, I'll be checking the board to make sure I'm capturing the questions. But just let us know if we need to stop and you have a question that you want to talk about. So, Clarisse, I'll let you have it.
Hi, everyone. As Dr. Dre, did I say your name right?
It's Dare, D-A-R-E.
Dare, Dr. Dare.
But we'll take Dre too.
Said, my name is Clarisse Jordan. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You wanted me to tell you about my book. My book is called Life After, and then
Okay.
I have Life After Volume 2, Infected and Affected. Um, the reason for the books is because I have been living with HIV for 42 years. I was infected when I was 16, found out I had it when I was 18. I actually in October will be 55 years old.
Okay.
So I have been living all of my adult life, teenage and adult life with HIV.
And you said you've had it for 42 years?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. I found out I had it when I was 18, but they
8.
they they told me that I had gotten it as early as 16. I got it
Gotcha.
from one person. He knew he had it, didn't
Wow.
tell me he had it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 80s, the only thing that I had to worry about, well, I thought the only thing I had to worry about was getting pregnant.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but and in the 80s, HIV was known as the gay white male disease.
Right.
So,
Because it was Rock Hudson, I think, was
right,
the first
exactly.
celebrity, I think, that had it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, me being African American, I just thought HIV did not happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend wasn't gay and he wasn't white,
Right.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and neither was I. But what I found out was that he was having unprotected sex with men and with other females. He was using drugs. So everything that would put you at risk for HIV, he was doing.
He was doing it. Okay.
And I knew nothing about it, again because I was young and dumb and in love.
Right.
um,
Okay. Okay.
and so how I found out is because he tried to get in the service, and God had it that my brother was the Navy recruiter.
Mm.
So in 89, when I found out you could not get in the service if you had HIV.
Gotcha.
So of course, when he had the HIV test, my brother had to come home and tell my mother. And when I got in from school, my mother then had to sit me down and tell me that I needed to go and get tested for HIV.
Wow.
Um, and so
How,
I went
how did
through.
you cope with that when you first found out
Uh,
at 16?
well, I
16,
found
right?
out at
At
18.
18.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was preparing to die because when they told me I had HIV, they told me I would not live to see 24.
Wow.
Um, so I was in shock. Um, but I was born and raised in the church, so I've always had a strong faith.
Yeah.
Um, just really, it took me a long time to accept really what was going on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it took me literally almost 5 years before I actually accepted what was going on with me. Um, and I
How
had
did that?
gotten to the point where
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, how did that impact you, like with school and trying to stay focused and dealing with that
Well,
diagnosis at the same time?
well, I graduated from high school.
Oh,
Um,
I keep thinking you
right
were
when I
18.
found out,
Gotcha.
right when I found out, I graduated from high school, and a month later, I found out that I had it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when they had told me that I was 16 when I contracted it, um, I, I just don't even know. I all I can say is it was God. It was
Mm-hmm.
God's strength
Mm-hmm.
that kept me and brought me through it all. Because there have been times that I felt like I was going to lose my mind. Um, I tell people, if it wasn't for God's mercy, I would have been in a padded room somewhere,
Wow.
with a straight jacket on, because or in jail,
Mm-hmm.
um, for snapping, you know, because when I confronted him about it, he told me that he didn't have it. And then when I said, you know, you're the only person I have been with, then it was, well, I tested positive. I tested positive, but then I tested negative. Then he wanted to go into how did I find out? You know, and so the last thing I said to him was that he would die before I would. Wow. And he did. He did die.
He did die.
And the sad thing is that yes, he died. He's been gone now almost 20 years, if not longer.
Wow. How did that feel when you...
a young lady? Okay. That was a whole whole new set of problems. Because I suppressed a lot of my feelings for so long. I had a moment really about 5 years after he died, where I was in church and I seen a pastor that looked like the guy that had given me HIV. And you know, the people that I were with, they actually had to take me out because I feel like I had kind of like a breakdown because
he no one could
tell me that was not him. He looked so much like him. And when I got home, for about a week or so, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was messed up. But I had to rely on my faith and on God to in prayer to help me to get past that. But I had to deal with my feelings. I tell people all the time, you have to do your work when you get diagnoses, meaning you have to deal with your stuff. You know, and I never dealt with my stuff, but I had to deal with it. And that is the only way that I am still here now, because I had to deal with my stuff.
So how did that look when you say deal with your stuff? What does that look like?
I had to deal with what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly of me. I had to deal with the fact that he had given me HIV. I had to deal with the fact that that my life was going to change, or it had changed. That I was going to have to take medication, and that I was going to be sick. I had to deal with all of that. I had to deal and grieve the life that I wanted for myself. Because HIV is not how I see my life. I see my life as, you know, being a married woman with children, you know, and living my best life. And that was not the plan that God had for me. So I had to allow myself to grieve the life that I wanted for myself, and then accept my new life. And so it wasn't all peaches and creams. You know, there were some times, there were some screaming matches, there was some hollering and crying, you know, rolling on the floor, whatever I need to do to deal with my feelings, to get to accept it. Yes, to process it. And but you know, I understand. I had to stop putting stigma on myself, and I understand that this could have happened to anybody. I didn't do anything wrong. This was not God's punishment on me.
Because those are the things that people were saying back in the day when HIV first surfaced. It's like, oh, this is a punishment or things like that.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. I had to deal with all of that. And understand that I am more than HIV. HIV is the disease that I have, or the diagnosis that I have, but it is not who I am. It has nothing to do with my character or my integrity. It has nothing to do with me being a good person. I am a good person. I am worthy of love. I'm worthy to be happy. And so that's where I am now. And I had to get there. I had to deal with my emotions to get here.
Okay. Did you ever see a therapist or anything, or did you do all of this by yourself?
I did see a therapist, and I do sometimes see a therapist.
Okay.
Mental health is very important to me.
Yes. Yes.
But my faith is really what has
Got you
sustained
through.
me and carried me through. Um,
Okay.
I had to talk to my pastor, you know, um, because and she would counsel me and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But I I at one time had to take depression medicine. Um,
So it's an emotional roller coaster
absolutely.
trying to process that, and I'm sure early on, but when did it come to a point where you became more of an advocate and became uh, kind of just accepting of what was happening, but not letting it impact your life? I guess I asked a whole bunch of questions in
Right.
that.
As I said, that it took me about 5 to 7 years to really get myself together.
Okay.
And I was one day sitting in my living room, literally waiting to die, just, saying, okay, I'm going to die anytime now. And just like I'm talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
I could hear the voice of God say, what are you doing?
Right.
Literally, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a light bulb went off in my head. It
Okay.
said, girl, if HIV is going to take you, let it come find you. Get up and go and do something. You were,
Mm-hmm.
I was only in my 20s and I'm sitting here literally waiting to die,
Wow.
and then I said, you know what? I don't deserve this. I deserve to be happy and I'm going to be happy. And from that moment on, I decided that I was going to get involved. And I looked in the phone book
Mm-hmm.
and found the Pittsburgh AIDS Task Force, but now it's Allies for Health and Wellbeing.
Okay.
And I started volunteering, and I started volunteering on their Speakers Bureau, where you would go out and share your story.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was sharing my story, then different agencies would call me in to talk to their women or newly diagnosed people. And then I got involved with mothers living with HIV who had babies with it. I just really got involved in it, and I understood that God was taking something that was meant to kill me and that was designed to be very ugly for me. And he
Wow.
had turned it into something beautiful for me and into a ministry.
Wow. Okay, for the people, because the numbers have gotten high, can you tell the beginning of the story of how you contracted it
I
again?
contracted HIV from my first and only boyfriend, who knew he had it and didn't tell me. And
Gotcha.
kind of as a teenager, you know how some guys as teenagers, they'll kind of put the heat on you to have
Have
sex.
sex.
And
Mm-hmm.
so he took my virginity, and when he took my virginity, he gave me HIV.
So was this your first person that you were in a relationship with?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. I met him when I was 15,
Gotcha.
and we dated up until I was 18 when I found out I had HIV.
And the reason I pointed that out is because a lot of people have these narratives in their head that people with HIV must have been sleeping around and all of this stuff, and that's not the case. So we're here to, you know, erase that fake narrative that's created. So I thank you for sharing that story, because that's so. How did you come up with the title of the book?
I came up with the title of the book, um, Life After, because it's just that there is life after diagnosis. There is life after being told that you have HIV.
Mm-hmm.
And so my book it was designed and written to show the strength of people living with HIV,
Mm-hmm.
but to show the resilience of us, and to share our stories so that people can see that there is life after any diagnosis. I tell people, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade. And so what
Mm-hmm.
I decided to do was not just make the lemon egg, but I have drank the whole pitcher and I drink it every day. And so that is what the book, that's where the book title came from, Life After, that there is life after it.
Okay. And the affected or infected, what is that?
Infected is people that are infected with it, but affected is people that have been affected, like your family.
Gotcha.
Or your friends. Mm-hmm. So the second book, people told their stories of their family members that may have died of it, or their family members living with it.
Gotcha.
So it's because a lot of times we only think of the people that are infected with it. We never think about people, their family, their children, gotcha. their significant others, their good friends. We never talk about how they are affected by us being infected.
Okay. So how did your family support you during this journey?
At first, my family did not support at all. Let me say,
wow. Okay.
At first, my mother did not support very well. Of course, because there was a lot of stigma in the 80s when I found out I had it. And so that was not the life she wanted for me. And so she didn't accept it very well. But over the years, my family is very, very, very much supportive.
Okay.
But at that time when my mother could not be, or my father could not be, God always gave me people that supported me. My church family has always been my biggest supporter. My pastor, she is very supportive. Her and her husband, they are very, very supportive of me, to the point where we started an AIDS ministry at my church. And nice. She started going to different conferences and working in the HIV/AIDS field with me. She actually became a tester and a trainer to test, and a tester and counselor. And so they're just very supportive. I tell people I have a church family that I could go and say, the doctor said my T cells have dropped. Let's pray. Mm-hmm. And then when they go up and they're really, really good, my T cells are wonderful. We rejoice. That's the kind of church family that I have. But my biological family, everyone in my family now has accepted what is going on with me.
Okay. Well, that's good. It just took them a while to get to this stage, I guess.
It did. It took them a long while.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So I have posted the link to purchase this book. So there's other authors in there telling their similar stories about HIV, or are they different stories?
Exactly. There are other survivors. Gotcha. Telling their story. My name is the only name in the book to protect my other authors from Gotcha. Stigma. Gotcha. Because there's a lot of stigma in the HIV/AIDS world and just in the world. Still and today. My job was to give them, there is to give them a safe place to tell their story without their names being used.
So they use pseudonyms.
So we call them survivors.
Okay.
Huh?
They use like pseudonyms, right? Yeah, survivors.
Yes, they are called survivors. Okay. Because I told them I can handle stigma.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you were like, I can
bring it, please.
You're like, I'm
like
open.
You to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bring. There's things I don't tolerate, and stigma is one. Good. You want to get, on my bad side or get told off in a very nice way, then act like you're treating me differently. Gotcha. Because of my HIV. So with the co-authors of my book, I did that so that they would feel safe.
Okay.
And so they can say they can say to their family or whoever they want to say that they wrote in a book, but I will never share, who they are.
Right.
Yes.
Right. All right. So what do you want people to know about people living with HIV? What would you say?
Well, people living with HIV are just like anyone else. We're mothers, we're fathers, we're sisters, we're children, we're pastors, we're elders, we're doctors, we're lawyers. We're HIV can happen to anybody,
right?
And so don't treat us differently because you find out that we have HIV. Because the fact is that a person who does not have HIV is more damaged or more dangerous to me living with HIV than I could ever be to them. You'll only get something from me.
Explain that. Oh.
Meaning, because of my immune system and my T cells, if someone is around me and has a cold or something and I get it, I could end up in the hospital or even possibly dying.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what I mean when I say that they're more dangerous to me than I am to them. The only way you'll get something from me is if you come in contact with, and I'm on my blood, my semen, vaginal secretions, or breast milk.
Gotcha.
That's the only way you're gonna get in front of encounter getting HIV from me. Gotcha. And you're not going to come in contact. Like I've told a lot of, when I go and speak, and I had a young lady say, "Oh, she got AIDS." I said, first of all, I don't have AIDS. And you don't have to worry about me giving you anything, but I do have to worry about what you're going to give me, because I can promise you any way that you would get it from me, that's not going to happen. Because we're not going to be engaging in sex.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. Because your immune system can be compromised more so by somebody else.
Exactly.
Got it.
And let me bring this up too, since we're talking about that. Now, if you take your medication the way you are supposed to, you can get to undetectable. And now, if you are undetectable, that means untransmittable.
So you can't transmit HIV to anybody else.
So I could engage, I could get married to someone that is not HIV positive, and I can engage in sex with my partner, with my husband, and not give him HIV.
So that's what undetectable means.
That's what undetectable means. When you hear someone say undetectable, there is a test, that blood test that you have done every 3 to 6 months.
Okay. And
it says, and it actually counts how many HIV cells are in like a microliter of blood.
Gotcha.
And if the count is 50 or less, then you are told you are undetectable.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean you don't have it.
It's just undetectable.
It's just undetected.
So in that lab work, they can barely see it.
Exactly. Gotcha. So our goal now is to get people that are living with HIV into being undetectable, being medically adherent, and so that they can get to undetectable, because if they get to undetectable, then it is untransmittable.
Gotcha. And so Karen says, thank you for explaining that, because that kind of cleared up that, because I'm sure we've all heard that term, but you kind of gave us the explanation. All right. Anything else you wanted to share? Any questions out there from the audience? I'm trying to make sure that I'm watching my phone, because the only comments that are appearing on the screen are YouTube. But I can see the Facebook and comments on my phone. So the book can be purchased on Amazon, and I have the link up here. So, and make sure you share this live, because we want this information to get out there, and we want Clarissa's book to sell more. How long are you writing anything else, or is this?
Well, I am going to be writing a children's book soon, hopefully later on this year, called My Mimi Has HIV. Because I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and now I have great nieces and nephews, and all of their lives I have been HIV positive, And when I was speaking to one of my nieces, she said to me, she said, Aunt, she calls me Aunt Missy. My nickname is Missy. She said, Aunt Missy, when we see you, we don't see HIV. You're just our aunt.
Right.
And so I actually watched my great niece and nephew, and they call me Mimi. And so they just know that their Mimi loves them and they love their Mimi. So it just gave me a vision of telling children about HIV and AIDS and doing it in a way of my Mimi has HIV.
Oh, that's nice.
And also there will be some other volumes of Life After coming up really soon. So
gotcha. Will you always do an anthology? Because that's
I will. That is I will be writing my own personal manuscript really soon, but I will always keep Life After Anthropology going because that is a way for other HIV positive people to get their stories out and to do it in a non-judgmental way,
right?
Where they can heal. What I found about writing is that when it's written it's out of you, you can go ahead and move on and heal.
And that's like journaling. That's why we teach journaling in therapy sessions, because I always tell my clients that, because we carry a lot of the stories and negative self-talk and all that stuff that we tell ourselves. But as soon as we journal it, it's almost like you taking it out of here and taking it out of your body and releasing it to that piece of paper, which is why that's a cognitive behavioral therapy technique. So we got 2 comments. I got one on Facebook. Michelle says, I applaud you for living in your truth. I have a nephew that is HIV positive also.
Okay.
And then Karen says, I love that you will be writing a children's book. It will help families communicate about this issue.
Yes, and that was my reasoning for wanting to do the children's book. One, because it's going to put what HIV is in terms that children can understand.
Okay.
But also, it's going to teach them that the person that has it is no different than they are. Right. My niece and nephew, my great niece and nephew, or my nieces and nephews, they just I'm Mimi, I'm Auntie, I'm Aunt Missy. Right. I'm the one that they call when they want something cooked. I'm the one that they call when they need a little love. And so my HIV does not stop any of that. And children are innocent, so I just want to be able to share with with the family that you don't have to treat someone in your family differently because of HIV.
Because to me, I look at it like just all the diseases and stuff that we have. We don't walk around saying, "Oh, I have diabetes," or "Oh, you don't walk around." So HIV should be the same way. There shouldn't be this sign or stigma still on that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting all the stories. I mean, the comments. Okay. Any more comments out there? So when did you become brave? Like, when did you become brave to just like, I'm going to tell my story? And what did that process look like? I think you kind of shared it a little bit, but we have.
Well, I have always been a person that I don't get embarrassed. And so I think that is just how that is just how God made me. And I believe it is because, he knew what I was going to have to battle with or live with, and that he was going to use it for his glory. So I've always been that type of person. And I had decided from day one. Now, my mom and my dad was saying, "Don't tell it. Don't tell nobody. Why are you gonna tell anybody?" And I have always been the person. I'm gonna live in my truth.
You're like, I'm gonna say it. Right.
Listen,
right.
And so I have always been the person that would say, do you know your status? Are you protecting yourself? You need some condoms. I'm just that type. I've always been that type of person.
I love that.
And so,
because I think people have too many. The reason our society has issues and stigmas and all of that stuff, because I think we're taught at a young age that there's this audience or make-believe audience that we have to impress all the time, but there really is not. Who are you trying to impress? Live your truth and be you.
right.
There's nobody to impress.
Right. Now because of stigma, and the stigma that, let me say, when I say stigma, it was always the stigma that I put on myself.
Gotcha. What was that?
Like,
what was your stigma that you were putting
that I'm dirty, that nobody ever is gonna want me, don't nobody want to hear me, don't nobody love me, this is God's punishment on me, the gamut.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. And then I kind of stopped saying stuff. But when I had that aha moment too, I'm not sitting here waiting for death to come. I'm gonna live my best life. Then it went back to, I'm gonna live in my truth, because my goal is to help as many people as I can not to go through what I have gone through.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Any other questions out there? I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing any.
Well, from doing Life After, from doing Life After the books, I started a nonprofit. My nonprofit is called Love in Action Through Faith Initiative. It is a faith-based initiative to get the church back involved in the fight against HIV and AIDS. So I'm the person, and my agency is the person that would go and train the pastors and church leaders about HIV and AIDS and get them involved with the AIDS service organizations. So
what is it called?
My nonprofit, it's Love in Action Through Faith Initiative. And I'm actually getting ready in 2 weeks to have my launch event. Yes, I am so very nervous, but very happy. So I will be having my launch event on March 24th.
Is that in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, yes.
Okay. Do you have like a website, and can people donate to this Love in Action Through Faith initiative?
I do not have a website as of yet.
Okay.
But I do. But you can donate if you want to donate to Allies Health and Wellbeing, and they are serving as my fiscal agent while I continue to get all of my papers. I have my 501c3 paper, and I have to get certified through the state, and business accounts and stuff. So I have a fiscal agent, and it's Allies for Health and Wellbeing, and you can go to their website and you can donate and just put for Love in Action Through Faith.
Okay, and what are they called? I'm trying to type it out while you're
Allies for Health and Wellbeing. Being.
And so I'll look up the, if there's a link out there, I'll look it up and put it in here after we close out the show. Any other questions or anything, Clarisse, you wanted to share that maybe we didn't get to? But thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing this story. I think a lot of people need to hear it, because somebody's probably out there suffering in silence and struggling with this, which is why I always tell people share these videos, because maybe somebody needs to reach out to you and you help them get to, a better mindset than where they are. Because I guess when people get diagnosed, it's like they catastrophize, is what I call it in therapy. They just think of the worst and not say, hey, you know what? Let me do research. I can take medication. Let me do all those things, versus catastrophizing, which we call in therapy a cognitive distortion, which means that your thought is distorted because you've heard some news, and we jump to conclusions and all of those things, which make us
Right.
feel bad about ourselves.
Right. Immediately when you hear that you are HIV positive, you immediately think, I am going to die. And
Yeah.
I'm usually the one that the agencies will call and say, Clarisse, will you come and talk to, a patient? And I've gone and talked to a patient, and they're crying, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I said, who told you you were?
Right.
I said, you don't have to die from this. We all one day gonna die, but you don't have
We
to die
all gonna die,
now.
right?
Right.
Right.
And then they say, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, I've been living with it for 42 years. And
Wow.
so, and then they're like, what? We didn't think anyone could live that long. So yeah. So
That's why you're really needed, like to because people, that's the first thing, they catastrophize everything. And sometimes that doesn't help when your mindset is not positive. Like, you need that positivity to help you. And like you said, your religious support and a support system from your family to kind of help you through that.
Right. And for some people living with HIV, unfortunately, they don't have the support of maybe their family, or a lot of times they don't tell anyone. So that's also why I do this work, because a lot of people, the HIV/AIDS world, we've learned to be each other's support system. Or I have to be the support system, to let them know that they're going to be okay. And they can make it, because a lot of people are just scared to say anything. And it is because I totally understand this, because of stigma.
Yeah, you don't want to feel that pressure.
Yeah. And I tell people living with HIV all the time, because sometimes they feel like, well, if you do it, I need to share my story. Everybody is not meant to share their story on a public platform.
Right.
This is my ministry. I'm built for this. But just start with accepting it. Get to accepting what you have, so you can live and be not just happy, but joyful. Happiness is because of the things that you have.
Right.
Joyful it's just who you are. It could be all hell breaking out all around you,
but you're
but you
still
are still
joyful.
joyful.
Right.
So I encourage people living with HIV not to just be happy, but to get to joyful.
Gotcha. All right. Well, before we let everybody else go, anybody have any comments, questions, statements, or anything like that? I thank y'all for joining on this Friday night. You could be anywhere else, but you're here. And thank you, Clarisse, for taking your time to be here. I want to hear more about this initiative and that launch. And I wonder, are you going to have it like on social media, or you haven't decided?
I am considering. I'm still praying and thinking about it. If I'm going to allow it to be on Facebook, but it may be. It may be on Facebook. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and if I have people that really want to just see it and be a part of it that way, then yes, it will be.
Okay. So I put the link up here again, and anytime if anybody's listening, you share the video. Anybody that's interested in the book, you'll see the link that you can go to, click, and purchase the book. Let's support author. I'll get my copy. But anything else, Clarisse, before we go? I don't want to.
Just know that if you are living with HIV, you do not have to live in silence, and you are not alone. You have people that you can reach out to that will be with you, walk you through it, walk you through the stages of grief. Just don't be afraid to just ask for help.
Ask for help. Thank you for that. And Karen says thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to give you your Friday evening back, and we will talk in 2 weeks on different topics. All right. Thanks. Have a good night.